Okay, here we go. There we go. Sorry, guys. Just adding some of the other guys to the stage quickly. Let me see if I can get Thane on here. Thane just disappeared. Okay, well, for now, let's see. There's Thane. There's Godwin. Perfect. Okay, here we have it. Hello, welcome everybody to another episode of the Toxic Show. This obviously the one as the international break starts. It's obviously not a great time for everyone, but I think there are a few fans on this panel who are a lot happier than others. Without further ado, guys, let me just introduce my panel for tonight. Obviously, some quite familiar faces that we've got here. We've got myself. Obviously, we've got Liam, who's repping Man United. I'm sure Liam will be a lot happier than what he has been over the past few weeks. Obviously, Ten Hag is now officially gone. Ruud did well to be a custodian. And then obviously now we've got Ruben Amorim coming in. Then we've got Meres, who is obviously there repping Spurs in the bottom corner there. Spurs who have been quite Spursy over the past couple of weeks, to say the least. Obviously, they are coming off a defeat, but we will discuss that a bit further. And then obviously we add X here, who also is rapping Man United as well. So I'm sure will be just as happy as what Liam is. We've got a couple of Chelsea guys in Godwin and Thane, who I think are probably having a bit of connection issues. Everybody good?
Could be
Yeah,
better,
we're good,
man.
my bro.
Yeah,
Good,
yourself?
good, good, good. Can you guys hear me? Please don't mind my green screen, gents. I'm trying. But yeah, listen, I think let's get straight into it. Obviously, Chelsea guys aren't here just yet, but I think, you know, if that's the case, then I think let's start at Old Trafford. Even though this is not the game of the weekend, but I think that United will be a good place to start. 3-0 win against Leicester, comprehensive win. Ruben Nistelrooy unbeaten in his tenure as manager of Man United. Let me take it obviously to Liam. Liam, what have you seen so far? Or how happy have you been with the way your team has performed since Ten Hag has been sacked? There's no defeats. You actually got your first Europa League win of the season as well in midweek, and then topping it off with a great performance yesterday. Just how happy are you with what Ruud has done over the past couple games?
Yeah, good evening, gents. It's always a pleasure to be on the platform. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Um, I'm impressed with Ruud and how he brought the belief back to the boys. Looks like they want to play football again. Like I said last week, it almost feels like they sabotaged Ten Hag because all of a sudden these boys can play ball now. So it's kind of crazy what's happening at Old Trafford right now. But yeah, credit to Ruud. I think he brought back that belief. He used to play at United, so he knows what the culture is like. He knows what the dressing room should look like or feel like, and you should know like what the players want. Firstly, what they expect as United players. Yeah, but he just understands the culture. So I think 4 wins, 4 games unbeaten since that defeat to West Ham, and that's all been under Ruud van Nistelrooy. You look at the 4 games, 1 draw and 3 wins. It started with that 5-2 win against Leicester in the EFL
Mm.
Cup. I said last week I'm not really convinced with that win because Leicester, I think they played like the reserves or the second strength team, so we couldn't really gauge on that game. But then we went 1-1 against Chelsea. I think that game against Chelsea was Ruud's first real test. I don't think a draw is bad in your second game and your first game in the Premier League against a Chelsea who we've been saying this for weeks. Chelsea are the dark horses this season. They third on the log right now, so I think that was a great result actually in hindsight. Then there was that 2-0 win in the Europa and then the 3-0 win over the weekend. But this is not the first time, really, that we've gone four games unbeaten this season. It happened before. I think it was before the West Ham defeat. We went 4 games undefeated. But you look at that record, that was like 3 draws and 1 win under Ten Hag. And then I think that was just after that the Spurs defeat. Um, And then before the Spurs defeat, we were also unbeaten. So, but most of them under Ten Hag were like draws, or we weren't winning, convincingly. But under Ruud, we scoring goals. I think it was 11 goals in the 4 games that we played, and we only conceded 3 goals. So it looks like a team that wants to score goals now. Bruno's out of this world now. Out all of a sudden, we've been complaining about Bruno at the start of the season. The guy scored 4 goals in 4 games now. But I think the player that's standing out for me right now is Ahmad, and I just hope that finally there'll be a coach that. Oh, Ruud looked like he was going to be that coach had United given him more time. But of course, we heard a few minutes ago that Ruud is not even going to be part of this new United setup. Ruben is coming with his whole what do you call this technical team, his own technical team. So yeah, it's unfortunate that Ruud has to go now and step away from this United project. I think he was the perfect person to have in even in an assistant manager capacity, but it's not to be. He has mentioned that, of course, United is the only team that he would accept like an assistant manager job. So I don't think that was part of that meeting today, Ruben Amorim and Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I'm sure he probably had plans for Ruud, but not as an assistant. And I think they couldn't agree possibly on that. So yeah, hence Ruud has left the club now. But yeah, a new era awaits us as United fans. I don't know how many times I've said this over the past few years, but we hopeful for this guy, man. I mean, he's only 39.
Still young.
So he's still young. He still should know modern tactics. He should be obsessed with modern tactics, and just trying to be a leader when it comes to tactics and a style of football that is so attractive to the world that everyone wants to be like you. Like we saw with Pep Guardiola when he came into Barcelona. He was also like 30, 37, 38 when he took over at Barcelona. So yeah, man, it's just a matter of time now to see if he is the right guy.
100%. And I think, with United, Liam, you did mention that you did go unbeaten before this season in a couple of games, but I think the performances from United recently under Ruud look a lot more fluid. United look like they can score goals. United look like they can break teams down. They're looking a bit more sturdy in defense. And I think Ruud has given Amorim some good foundations to build upon. Especially going into the international break, which maybe the manager coming in is happy because obviously it gives him a bit of time to work with certain players, but maybe he would have liked to come in and work immediately when the players are hot, when the energy is up. But obviously now you only get his first crack of English football after the international break. X, just to bring it to you, bro. Obviously just hearing what Liam has said, and just let's talk more about the game yesterday. A player that for me has continued to improve this season, and I think he's slowly becoming but more of a recognized player in terms of carrying United. And some people will criticize him, but I mean he's still young. He's Garnacho. That finish that he had yesterday was world class. Show me inside, bend it into the top corner. I think that's what you want from your winger. You want your wingers to look tricky, to look dangerous, and be able to have a final product. X, what have you made of Garnacho's performances of late, and what did you make of his performance yesterday?
How's it, gents? To be honest with you, bro, for me, I've always been a big fan of Garnacho. I know he's not world class yet, but given a chance, that boy is gonna be something else. I saw after he scored that goal that he didn't even celebrate. I think who's Bruno ended up like going to speak to him, because he's been getting a lot of bashes and stuff like that. But I think given more game time and it's gonna help build up his confidence. Yeah, that boy is gonna become one of the best wingers. Yeah, though at the moment he's not world class, but that boy is gonna cook. He's coming all right. For me personally, he's coming all right. Checking him how he played yesterday. That's the type of wing play we need. Let's not forget also Ahmad. Yeah, he's been dominating his side, to be honest. Yeah, I think that combination of Garnacho, Ahmad, side to side, I think that's what we need at the moment. Even though Rashford, he's also like he's coming back slowly, but yeah, I think we should Amorim must try and like prioritize the two boys, Garnacho and Ahmad, and yeah, and also just allow Bruno to play that captain figure on the field, and try to control the tempo like he always does. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with how United is coming together at the moment.
Sorry, guys, I'm muted. Sorry, I'm mute. I want to bring in Godwin quickly. Godwin, obviously, bro, you had some strong criticisms of United this far this season. You were calling them shambolic at times. You were literally laughing at their performances. Do you think that they've got something now in terms of a nucleus, because now the manager has left in Ten Hag, some fresh ideas coming with Ruben Amorim, that United could potentially sneak into that top four position? Or do you think the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and City are just going to be a gap too far for United? Even though the league table says otherwise, just in terms of cohesion of the teams. What did you make? What do you make of United now? Since the last time we actually spoke about them?
What I think of Man United is clearly those boys wanted Ten Hag out. Those boys wanted him out. They sabotaged him, and now that he's out, they are playing properly, bro. Look, the league title is the league is very, very close, bro. Like, I think 6 points separate. I think third from I'm not too sure, but the league is very close. So it wouldn't be very wise for someone to rule out Man United. I mean, they've looked kind of convincing for these past 3 games. They're gonna get a new manager, a very good manager at that, bro, coming game. So, bro, they're a good team. Look how they play. Look how they played against Leicester. Leicester, yes, they're a newly promoted team, but they're no slouches. Those guys. Leicester are a decent side, and for United to just clean them 3-0, I mean, it says a lot, bro. United are a decent team. It wouldn't be wise to rule them out for a top 4 finish. So that's my take on it.
No. 100%. And as you can see, I'm sure that'll please a lot of United fans watching this podcast. Just hearing the tone change from rivals, from the start of the season, where United were like seen as the banter team, and there's no disrespect to United. I think just United were in such a slump or in such a negative place that the Liverpool beating them, there were just some poor results that just were happening for United. And I think looking at it now, United are not far off. So I think they're about 6 points off top 4. I mean, that's not unattainable at all. And when you look at it, is it such a bad start to the season? And you'd hope as Man United fans are, that they can kick on. Dane leaves a comment here that says 4 points separate third and 13th, which shows it's that tight. And that's why when we'll move on to the Arsenal segment, a lot of people saying Arsenal out of the title race, and I'm just like, look how tight the table is. Yes, Liverpool seem to they've got a big gap now in terms of 9 points over Arsenal, but at the same time, I don't think any of us will sit here and say that you don't think Liverpool will drop points in the next 28 games. I think that's highly unlikely, if we're being completely honest. But we'll wait and see. Medes, bro, just your thoughts on United, bro. Like I've been asking the panel, much more improved. Results are on the up. Are you, as a Tottenham fan, worried that maybe United could overtake you guys in those places for Europe, or do you think that it'll take a while for the new manager to get things clicking and going?
Away, gents, away. I think I echo Liam's sentiment in that how many times has he said, or that the boys are gonna come together and play well, And I think it's something that we've seen over the couple of years or the couple of changes in managers, that United thrive under caretakers or interim managers, And it's one of those things where I still echo that sentiment last week to say the genius of, say, Alex Ferguson. So until we see someone with a proper intention with the squad, because we might still argue that he might probably still need to bring his own players, or the people that he wants to play with. So we might still have to watch what he does with the current players. Maybe he's not feeling the type of players that United has exposed to now, and might still need maybe until the end of the season to actually do something. But I think it's an exciting time for United, because we saw, and I believe what Gordon was saying, they were team Ten Hag out. You know? Yeah, like just the intensity in the play, just the focus, man, on and off the ball, So yeah, man, I just think it's just one of those things you look at as a fan, as a supporter of United, and you're like, yo, we really are hopeful that the coach will come in with something tangible and be like, yo, this man is here to actually work these boys and accumulate results. Yeah.
100%. And yeah, I think everybody has similar sentiments here that we think United are probably going to be on the up. Not necessarily that they'll be, maybe they'll make top four this season, but they win the Europa League, and not to say they'll challenge next season, but in the next 2 seasons, you can definitely see United with the financial backing they've got from Ineos, with the new manager they have. Definitely, I think will be a force to be reckoned with, and I think that's what United fans were screaming for when Ineos came in. For this kind of ruthlessness, for this kind of energy that the club currently has. Because I mean, okay, think it back to a month and a half ago. Liam's energy was not the same. In terms of his confidence level in his team, and I think now he's seen a lot from, it's like almost like the players reminded everyone again that, listen, United still have a good crop of players. And I think all of us on paper can see that. You can see that this team should be performing to a much better level. And I think when you've got a coach like Amorim, who's a good man manager, but also a good tactician, United have a potential to be a very, very scary team for a lot of rivals. And I think, it's gonna take a bit of time. And I think United fans have to be patient and kind of be realistic with the expectations. But I do think once it clicks, United will be a very, very dangerous team. You cannot deny that. I think the quality is there. The quality has always been there. I just think they've never really had the management of it, in my opinion, for a long enough period. But I think it's only fair now that we move on to the game of the weekend, not necessarily in terms of maybe result or blockbuster, but I think Arsenal Chelsea, I think it's only fitting that we go there. Obviously, Kalen, guys, he couldn't make it, he had to pull out last minute. So he was watching the game with me yesterday at Basel. Look, let me jump to Godwin straight, bro. Godwin, 1-0 draw Stamford Bridge. Two good teams, and I think this is Chelsea on paper looking good on the field, from making any sense. Like Chelsea always had this strong squad for the past couple of years, but the performances haven't necessarily translated. Yesterday you came toe to toe with Arsenal, and I think it was a really good game from a neutral perspective. Just from your perspective as a Chelsea supporter, what did you make of your team's performance, bro? Are you disappointed that you didn't take the 3 points, or are you okay with taking a point away from Arsenal?
When I was watching the game, right, I realized that Chelsea going forward really are toothless. So when you're watching that game, like you're controlling the game. You're controlling certain aspects of the game. You're keeping the ball very well. You hold position very well, but you can't do anything in the final third. But looking back now, a draw is a good result. I mean, Arsenal have come close to winning the Premier League for the past 2 seasons. So it's just showing you that step that we've taken to kind of close that gap between my team and your team. We played decent. However, I do echo Kalen's sentiments. I watched the video on YouTube that you guys uploaded, and he said Arsenal deserved the win, and I do think so. In the second half, Arsenal were just they controlled the game a little bit more. They had better chances, and yeah, guys, Chelsea just give me so much stress, guys. There's just aspects of that team that, like, Maresca doesn't get it right. Why is Palmer is untouchable? Why? When he's been a ghost for the United game, which I don't know how on earth we didn't win that game, but that's a topic for another day. Palmer, Madueke has seemed, ever since he got that hat-trick, it seems that he can't also be replaced. He has to start every game. Levi Kowa is the worst defender that I've ever seen. He's up there with Malang Sarr, absolutely putrid defender, and I want him shipped back to Brighton. He is god-awful. He is an awful footballer. If he can become a footballer, I can surely become a footballer. That guy is useless, and he's been making so many mistakes, and I don't know how the Chelsea fan base are not seeing this. That guy is putrid, guys. He is shocking. So yeah, that's all I have to say. But the league's not done. I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans online saying, the league's done. You see these guys like the Troops, the guys on the Arsenal.
Man, they clickbaiting, bro. They clickbaiting the guys, man. They
The league
clickbaiting.
is not like Turkish audience. The league's not done, guys. It's November, and you guys are 9 points behind. I mean, anything can happen. Yes, but they make a point whereby you guys blew an 8-point lead. I don't know if it was last year or the year prior. So,
The year
but the
before.
league's not done. The league is really
Not
not
at
done.
all, bro.
Liverpool are the biggest guys. Liverpool are not as good as how everyone is putting out. Trust me, they're not. They will be found out. Those guys, they're not as good. So I do think that this league is very, very interesting. So yeah, that's just my bit on it.
Look, I know Liam is vexed here. You saying Liverpool are overrated. You know, Liam is I don't know, he's the only United fan that loves Liverpool. But you know, we won't talk too much on that. But look, I'll bring in Dane before I give my thoughts on the game. You know, I think I do a lot of talking anyway. So Dane, obviously, bro, you and I watched the game at Barca yesterday. You know, we saw that Kai Havertz goal go in, and the bar area, guys, we went wild.
But Kai Havertz as well.
The
prick.
Havertz song. You know, we sang the Kai Havertz song, and then obviously got ruled out, and then you know Martinelli gets the goal, and you think, you know, just hold on for a bit and just consolidate this 1-0 lead, and then just some poor sloppy defending from outside, and a brilliant goal from Pedro Neto. I'm not going to deny it was a brilliant goal. It silenced us in the bar, but then overall, bro, you know, yesterday you said in your fan cam is that you said we can catch Liverpool. Obviously, we had 24 hours to digest the game now. Do you still feel the same, or do you think like actually no, it's a bit of a stretch, or are you still as confident as what you were yesterday?
There we go. Sorry about that. I was just muted. Yeah, I'm on an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes I'm like, we can catch them. Then other times I'm like, Opta's giving us like a 5% chance. No one has caught up an 9-point gap after 11 games. But I know that we let Man City catch us with an 8-point gap after many more games. But that's Man City. So, and then also like I watched a pod with Sky Sports, and they said that our underlying numbers are very low. We were like low in possession, low in progressive passes, and low in one of the other key stats. So our underlying numbers are like we're sitting like 9th, 10th, and 8th in those numbers. So our numbers aren't looking good. I know the context is we've had 3 red cards and it's all of that. And we've had a tough start to the season with we faced the top 5 away. The top 5 from last season all away in the first 11 games. So actually the top 6, because Chelsea is also in the top 6. They came 6th. So we have had a tough start, but I'm feeling confident with Odegaard coming back. As you could see, I don't think he had the best game, but he, Dane with the stats. I'm bringing the stats. But he created 4 chances, and obviously he created the goal. So we've been missing that. I saw another stat that said if you look at I think it's zone 14, which is where the D is on the box, just on the box, that D there. We've had one of the lowest passes into that central area in the league. So we are not getting progressive passes through the center. So that is something that needs to improve, either with Odegaard getting more minutes, Wanyeri getting more minutes, or we need to buy someone maybe in January that can bring more progressive passes through that area. No, definitely not Arteta out. ETH, is that Arteta or Ten Hag out? I'm a bit
It's
torn there.
It's a play on the Arteta and Ten Hag thing.
No. He's nowhere near Arteta. Yeah, so I would definitely give Arteta till the end of the season, but I think the January transfer window is key. So we've had a lot of discussions in the WhatsApp groups about do we have money, because we hardly spent any money in this last window. So we need to bring a different profile in. We need to bring a dribbling profile. We need to bring a progressive passing profile in. So those two profiles we need. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
100%. 100%. And obviously, guys, Dane is our resident stats man. So if ever you need stats, don't be afraid to hit up Dane for any team, any stats. Dane's got you. Let me bring in one of our big haters, Liam. Like I said, the secret Liverpool fan. Liam, you watched the game yesterday, I'm sure, and you've been saying this whole season that you don't think Arsenal will do it, and so far your prediction is coming right. Arsenal are not taking maybe the results or the points that they should have, because if you're looking at it, against City, against Liverpool, and against Chelsea, we were ahead in all three of those games, and we failed to see it out. And if you compare this to the Arsenal team of last season, I think generally speaking, whatever context, if Arsenal have full strength, okay, yesterday we were full strength, and I just think it was just a bit of a poor goal we conceded. But I think in the City game, if we 11 men, and Liverpool, if we have a full strength squad, we probably see out those games.
Hey, we lose Shannon now. That's good.
Just answer what he has asked you in the meantime.
Oh shit! Sorry guys, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, Liam. So I was basically saying, do you think it's still possible for Arsenal to pull the rabbit out of the hat and somehow win the league title, or do you think what? That's it. It's done. 9 points is too much. Liverpool are not going to drop that many points.
No, man. I think it's too early to say now. I think I agree with what Godwin had to say. We can't judge it right now. Still early in the season. A lot can happen. For what? The points gap is not that big. Liverpool, I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. They like what, 1 or 2 injuries away from bottling the league. We've seen this last season around this time. Liverpool were also looking a threat. They were looking like, they could win the league. But then they had a few injuries, and then this season was finished. I don't know, was it last season or the season before? But anyway, like with City as well, we never know. They can also turn the corner, come after Christmas. We've seen this the last 2 seasons as well, where it looks like City come towards the end of the year. They don't look a strong team. They look like they're going to bottle the league. And then come the second half of the season, it's like Pep just knows what to do, and that's why they say it's a marathon and not a sprint. If this league was over 15 games, yeah, sure, I'd call it, and say, okay, Liverpool's winning the league, but it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. But I am disappointed in Arsenal though, because they're giving away sloppy points. You spoke about that game against Chelsea, okay, the game against Liverpool and City. I said it a few weeks ago. Like, you guys are lacking discipline at the back. You guys can't take a lead in these big games and then just bottle it at the end by conceding a goal. You need to have the discipline to protect that lead. And I mean, that's 9 points that you guys could have had from these 3 games. In those 9 points, you could have been second on the log now, or I don't know, Dane, you can do the math. But I just think, maybe Odegaard not being in the squad also affected you guys. Dane read that stat about something about the D line and passes into that channel. That's where Odegaard normally operates. So maybe him not being in that squad affected Arsenal. I mean, I worry 4 games without a win. That's worrying. That's 2 draws, 2 defeats. Even though it was Chelsea and Liverpool in the mix there, 2 top 4 teams. So yeah, man, I hope you guys can bounce back. Now it's international break. After the international break, you guys play Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest is having the season of their lives. level on points with Arsenal and Brighton. So whoever wins, they could make it into the top four. Also, sorry, depending on Brighton's game as well. But should Nottingham Forest beat Arsenal, they could be fourth. Do you realize the importance of this game? But now you have players going to international break. Nottingham Forest don't have as many players going on international break. So for them, they're going to regroup now, reset, and prepare properly for Arsenal. So my biggest worry right now is that game, Nottingham Forest.
Look, I think the Forest game is going to be tough, for many reasons. But I do think we'll beat them. Generally speaking, I do think we'll bounce back. I think the performances, obviously Newcastle was poor, but Liverpool was good. Then we played well against Inter, just didn't get the result, and also against Chelsea. And funny enough for Arsenal though is that we've got a lot of players staying back. Saka is staying, Rice is staying. You've got Jesus, Martinelli, Thomas Partey, Ben White. There's some key players staying for Arsenal during this international break, which some of these players need to find form and fitness, which is good. But ultimately, I think Arsenal will go on a good run after this. I think, like I keep saying, I prefer that we have this slump now because I still feel like it's salvageable. When it's like 6-7 games left, it's a
Sorry, just a quick correction while Shannon's frozen. Martinelli has actually been called up as Rodrigo had an injury. So Martinelli was called up. Sorry, Shannon, I was just adding there while you froze that Martinelli was called up because Rodrigo had an injury.
Okay, so look, it's still not too many players, but let me bring in some other guys quickly. Let me bring in Medes, where you haven't heard from you in a while. Obviously, being a rival of Arsenal so directly, and a direct rival of Chelsea. Do you think that we are seeing Chelsea slowly bridge the gap between themselves and maybe the Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, or do you think that there's still gears for Chelsea to reach? Chelsea are good, but they're not quite at that level yet.
Yeah, bro. I was actually just mentally battling with that, just to say, looking at yesterday's game, is it a matter of Arsenal losing its potency or intensity, or is Chelsea just really getting better? So it's just like catch-22 with those two. But I do get a sense that Arsenal are on a slump right now, and I agree with you. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do feel Arsenal are on a slump right now, and I do agree with you in the sense that rather have it now than later. I think for the past 2-3 seasons, Arsenal have been very consistent in the beginning of the season and kind of losing it towards the end. So I think having the slump right now will actually help them be better as the season goes. Because I remember, I think towards the end of last year, you guys were also struggling to get those goals, those final third plays. I do think it's last December, but you kind of bounce back again around towards the end of Jan, beginning of Feb, so I do believe that Arsenal will still get back to where we know Arsenal to be. And as excited as we are about Liverpool or positive about Liverpool, I do feel like the time is coming, I guess maybe then I hope. And then with Chelsea, the same thing, like I do feel like the energy at Chelsea right now is much better, with your Caicedos being very consistent and very tight in the middle. So I do really think it's an interesting time for the London teams like Arsenal and Chelsea in that respect. But I do believe that Arsenal will, in the end, just come on top. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I hope you're right, Medes. I hope that Arsenal can claw it back. Like I said, 9 points is tough in terms of Liverpool, but we know in the next couple of games, Liverpool play Everton, they play Newcastle, they play City. So between City and Liverpool, both of them, one of them is going to drop points, or both of them is going to drop points in their game. So when that happens, Arsenal play before both those teams in the next 2 game weeks. So hopefully we can capitalize against Nottingham Forest and West Ham. Anything can happen. It can be 3 points. come the Liverpool City game that we're behind Liverpool. Liverpool could lose now when they come back from international break and we win and then we win again and then the pressure's on them. So it is still, I think, in my opinion, fine margins. I just want to bring in X quickly before we move on to the next game. X, obviously, bro, you saw a really good game yesterday. Do you think Arsenal still have a chance of winning the league, or do you think maybe Arsenal and Arteta focus on the cup competitions? Sorry, guys, I don't know where I cut off, so this is so frustrating. I'm so vexed, and I moved to the best spot for the Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know what's going
Sorry,
on.
no, I was
X, did you?
yes, bro. I was saying, most definitely Arsenal still has a chance in winning the league. As much as you guys kind of drop points now, like you said, it's better now than later, because I feel like Liverpool is definitely going to drop those points. I mean, the last time they won the league, when was it? 2018, 2019, somewhere there. By this time, 11 games, they were already like 31 points. But they're like now like what, 4 points behind if I compare, of course, during that time. So I feel like Liverpool is going to drop those points. I mean, Jen is what was this FCON, and their star boy Salah is going there. So too many games, he's just gonna get fatigue. So they will definitely drop those points. But like Dane said, yeah, Arsenal just need to capitalize on that final third. As soon as you capitalize on that final third, you guys stand a good chance in winning, or in competing for the league. So definitely, Arsenal still has like a massive chance in doing so. And I personally, yeah, I would love for Arsenal to do that. Yes, I'm so bored. Watching City just taking this thing over and over again. Um, I'm just yeah, I'm behind Arsenal as much as yeah. um, I don't like any of you guys winning it, but I'm behind Arsenal. I think yeah, Arsenal is the best chance we have for us to change the history of Premier League at the moment. The way it looks. Yes, Liverpool is playing a good football, but yeah, they're gonna start dropping points, especially after that FCON.
X, there's no AFCON. AFCON is only in 2026, buddy.
Is it? It's
Yeah, it's
2026.
not. Yeah, it's not
It's
now.
not.
It's
It's
coming.
not now.
Oh, sorry, Jens. I just thought there's FCON in Jan.
Because we just had
No, no.
AFCON now in last year.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Jens, my bad.
No
But the next
worries.
AFCON starts in December of 2025. I'm reading over here. It says 21st of December 2025 till the 18th of January 2026. So it's not upcoming. It's only
All right,
next year.
Yeah,
all right. Thanks, Jens.
no worries. But I appreciate you supporting us and backing Arsenal. But I think it's because your main rivals are Man City and Liverpool, so you don't want them to win. So if you think about it, Manchester's main rivals are Man City and Liverpool. So I think that's why.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, with City, I just don't, because they've been winning back to back. I just don't want to see them winning again. And yeah, I also don't want Liverpool to win it. So that's why I'm backing up Arsenal. Hopefully us, with a new coach
Yeah, I
and
agree
all
with
that.
you, X.
Hopefully us, yeah. Hopefully us coming back competing for the league. Hopefully, because yeah, it's still a long season. Still plenty of games, and we can see the way they structured UEFA now. It's just so many games. So I feel like all those guys who are competing there, even though also us we are on the Europa, but I feel like the guys who are on the actual UEFA, is the closer they become on the UEFA, there's just more games they're gonna play. which I think they're going to start to take a dip, especially towards Easter.
I agree, bro. And,
Yeah, no,
and
look,
Arsenal
I
have
have
got the
to agree.
smallest
The
squad.
image is
Oh, sorry, Shannon. I was just saying that Arsenal had the smallest squad in the league. We got 22 players, and everyone else has got 25 and above.
Yeah, look, and I think Arsenal's squad management is going to have to come into play, and hopefully we can actually make use of the January window. I mean, a couple of bodies in will just help. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily world beaters like we were chatting in the group. Would you take a Arda Güler from Real Madrid on loan? Yes. You know, it's a good profile to have. Do you then maybe go and look at maybe a top winger during the winter market? And listen, it's not notorious that teams make big signings in the January transfer window, but sometimes I think Arsenal need to be a bit braver if we are to get over the line and beat the likes of City and Liverpool, because sometimes you just need that big signing to just get the confidence levels of the team and the fan base up for that second half of the season. I remember when Aubameyang came in a couple of windows, in January, it lit up the Arsenal fan base. We had so much confidence, we were really excited. And I think a signing of that caliber for Arsenal, I think that can maybe be the reason you maybe win a trophy like a Carabao Cup, or maybe can grind out a league title or something like that. But guys, I think it's a good time that I think we move on to the other, team on the panel here, and that's obviously Tottenham. But before we get that, I just want to see something. I just want to try something. Just bear with me quickly, gents. We'll be moving on to the Tottenham segment shortly.
When you changed formation and the two goals came very quickly.
Yeah, but Tottenham, it's the history of the Tottenham. They always created many chances and scored so much, but at the end they miss always something to arrive at the end. We believe in the history. I think
There we have it. We believe in the history. Medes, bro. Listen.
Why am I
roasting
getting?
you, bro.
Why am I getting an intro clip?
Listen, bro. When you lose to Ipswich Town at your home ground, I think an intro video is befitting. Look, I've been impressed with Spurs, and I've also been quite disappointed. And obviously, my disappointment and my praise with Spurs means nothing. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I think it's the most Tottenham thing to have beaten Villa and City and then lose to Ipswich. Like, it's genuine. Like, if you're talking about, give me a definition of Spursy or give me a definition of Tottenham, that is the definition right there. Like, that is the most Spurs thing that could possibly happen. Medes, bro, what did you make of your team's performance, bro? Obviously going down 2-1 at home to Ipswich. Just your thoughts, brother.
Yeah, man, I think you pretty much summed it up nicely to say that's the most Spursy thing to do, and I think for me as a Spurs supporter, it's easily the most frustrating time since we've had Ange, mainly because of those comments coming back, classic Tottenham, like we haven't had that in such a while. And like really when the team was really starting to be believable as this potent team, yes, sure, we still have our downfalls and everything, but like we're looking at stats like what Dane would always do, and I was like, you know what, let me actually just look at the stats. And you're looking at the log and you're like 5 wins, 5 defeats. We were at the brink of winning 6 games, which there's only been 2 teams that's been able to achieve that stat so far in the season. And after the Galatasaray game, Ange said we were keeping our best players for the game on Sunday. And it's like, what do you mean you're keeping the players for the game on Sunday when we are playing at the back foot of Ipswich, And look, when you're playing such teams with respect, you always set up for an upset. It's not by surprise. I would have understood more if we're at their home ground, but we're playing at home. We're playing at full strength, or at least close to full strength, with our defense not still being 100%. And just what we always say, like he's just not creative enough in that sense of allowing or adapting to the game, I was going to say, like the same way we lost the game against Palace played with a back 5, Ipswich did the same thing, and we just seem to not have any solutions for that. And it's really concerning because it's like if teams like Ipswich and Palace can come up with such a defensive line that we can't break, like what hope do we have, you know? And we look at the last time we lost atrociously was the time we lost 4-1, I guess, to Chelsea. And since then, we've won 17 and lost 17. It's just this balance of like, what are we actually doing? Like, are we moving forward? Are we moving back? You know? And I think for the first time again, I started hearing also pundits talking about, is it time for edge out? Or like the fans talking about edge out. And it's like, not this again. You know, not when we're actually starting to be like, there's a bit of hope, there's a bit of consistency, you know. We just feel like we're just not nowhere good enough, you know. One of our best players who really plays to unlock defenses is Madison, and we didn't see him yesterday until like 5 minutes before time, and you're like, but why? You know, but why? When already by halftime we could already tell that we're gonna need something to change, you know. And yeah, man, it's disheartening. But
100%, bro. I can hear in your voice, I can hear that it's like you said, the 17 draws, the 17 wins shows that like it's one way or the other with Spurs, and I think that's where it's kind of maybe a frustration is that you don't know what Tottenham is going to show up. You know, I think Tottenham are probably the worst team to bet on. Like they will mess up your bet slip, like guaranteed. You know, you just don't know how to bet on them, and I think I don't know how to pinpoint it. I don't know if it's an Ange thing, if it's generally a Tottenham thing, like, or is it just like, you know, let's also give Ipswich the credit. You know, they came, they were brave. To go to a place like Tottenham, you know, having not won a game yet this season and be able to bring out the result like that, I think that does them the world of confidence. Godwin, bro, you know, you had some good and yes, some real praise for Spurs around the Man United game when they obviously did come up triumphant in that 3-0 win. Since then, Spurs have had a mixed bag of results, bro. Do you think that Spurs have maybe reached their ceiling with Ange, or do you think that, you know, it just takes a couple of tweaks for Tottenham to then maybe look like a really serious outfit? Because currently, like I said, you don't know really where to task Tottenham. Are they a top 4 contender? Are they a top 8? Are they, you know, they a mixed bag. So just how are you feeling about Spurs, and obviously what you were you surprised with the result yesterday?
Yeah, I was very surprised with the results yesterday. Do I think that they've reached the ceiling? No, I do not. I think Spurs just make mistakes, guys. Like, but sometimes it's one too many mistakes that Spurs makes. They just an outfit full of mistakes, I feel. So I just feel like Ange just needs to, if there's a way of him getting rid of the mistakes, or maybe making certain changes to certain personnel in the team, then I think that Tottenham will do well. So I just feel like they make too many mistakes, but it's something that can be rectified, definitely.
Sorry, I was muted there. I think Spurs have the potential with their squad. I think they've got a young, energetic squad. One of the more, I would say, fluid attacks in the league, but just somehow, some way that when Tottenham seem to get stuck, they seem to get really stuck. Like they don't have any other ideas. You know, when Ange's way is not working, they've got no plan B. And I think that's what becomes frustrating is that, bro, in order to achieve anything in this league, especially in the Premier League, and I think in any other league, you know, in general, is that you would like your manager to be a bit more adaptable, to have something up their sleeve, an ace up their sleeve, you know. And last season was weird, you know. It was when they were losing against Chelsea and kept that high line when they were down to 9 men. People call that brave football, but all of us sitting here, I think we can say that we would not want none of our managers to do that. I think that's idiotic, bro. Like you ended up losing 4-1, where you could have consolidated maybe a 1-0 draw, you know. So I think with Ange, it's, I don't know, man. And maybe sometimes he's like similar to Arteta in a sense that maybe he gets in the way of himself sometimes, that he thinks that he always needs to reinvent the wheel when it comes to certain things. I mean, you've got a big striker in Solanke. Sometimes you just have to play the route one into the box and, you know, hope he gets at the end of a cross. You know, it can't always just be the way you want to play. Let me bring in Liam. Liam, so obviously, you know, that's another defeat for Spurs against a team that you expect them to probably pick up the points against. If Spurs continue in this vein, bro, do you think that there will be question marks on Ange that even more intensely? Or do you think, you know what you've seen from him as a manager, he probably is still the best guy to lead this Tottenham team forward?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't been following Spurs that well, as I should be. But I think he should stay on, man. I think they should just get it right. Because right now it looks like a trend they're setting. We'll lose one, then we'll win one, then we'll lose one. I think since that Man United the win against Man United, they went to go lose against Brighton. Then I think they beat West Ham, and then Crystal Palace defeated them, and it just went on and on like that. So it almost looks like a pattern. It's almost like this is planned. It looks like it's planned now. Okay, now they play City next. What's gonna happen? Are we gonna win this game, boys? They've beaten City already in the League Cup a few weeks ago. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But I really to make a judgment on that right now, I really can't. But I'd like him to stay. I mean, last season they finished in a European spot. I think they finished sixth, if I'm not mistaken. So fifth last season. So if they can just aim for 5, 6 again, I mean, we can't expect Spurs to be a top 4 team. I don't think they're top 4 team quality anymore. The Chelseas, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, they've just set the bar so high over the last few years, and the last few seasons. Nah, screw United, bro. I don't think they'll. Like, I'd love to see them in the top 4, but it probably won't happen. This is me being
Keep that energy,
modest.
bro.
I'm
That's
being
the energy.
modest, boy. But yeah, on a real though, I think Spurs should always aim for fifth, sixth place finish. I think that's Spurs. That's the quality. They there with Newcastle. That's there. They there. They're not in the top 4. So to expect them to win every weekend, go and beat this team and beat they would have been in the top 3 now. But I think it's like you said, Spurs just doing Spurs things. It's usual. It's work. It's business as usual.
You know what, Liam? I know you tried to, like, the way you were saying it was like you almost tried to say it in a nice way, but everything you said was like a dig, bro. That was like you were trying to say that, Tottenham, they should finish it, but that just sounded like, yo, bro, Medes, if I'm you, bro, I'm taking that one personally, bro. I've got United in my crosshairs again. You let a guy who you thumb 3-0 tell you that he thinks you can finish just 5th and 6th. Nah, my man, stand up, bro. Be counted.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't include United in the chat. I'm being honest. I
No,
said
fair
United
enough.
probably
Fair
won't
enough.
make the top 4.
Yeah, no, look, I think both of you will have it'll be an outside chance, but I still think that both teams are capable of, making the top 4. I just think if same with some Spurs, same with United, just take away a few mistakes and silly errors here and there in certain games, certain moments. There's foundations for strong squads. It's just that those few things are currently missing. Look, I don't want to. I think looking at time, I don't want to go on too long, gents. So I'm going to just move on to the next game. I think we'll end with Liverpool, but let's move to City. I was hoping to have a City fan on today, but it's okay. I did have this. So yeah, since Haaland said that, life is humbled City. If you're being completely honest, City just haven't looked as good as what they could have, or what they should, and what we all expect them to do. And it's sad as an Arsenal fan that when City are finally looking like genuinely not being good enough, we are not capitalizing. And I think we talk about Spurs. That's probably the most Arsenal thing ever. Like, you've been battling it out with City for 2 seasons, and the minute they show a sign of weakness, so do you. And I think, bro, rough. Like I said, I've got one more video for us here. This just sums up how I feel now.
The pressure is getting worse.
Exactly how I'm feeling now. It's just, it's really frustrating. But gents, City 4 losses in a row. Let me bring in Dane. Dane, obviously, just to quickly touch on City. Do you think this is just similar to Arsenal, just a slump, or do you think there's a much bigger problem at hand at City, and they could actually maybe see themselves not slip out of the top 4, but slip down maybe into third, fourth, in a couple of games?
Well, I mean, I don't know the exact stats, but I think the win rate with Rodri's in the 70s and with our team it's in the 50s. So I think it's definitely the Rodri thing, and then their defense has been a bit decimated at the moment with injuries. So it's a kind of a combination of those two. And their defense hasn't been really good this year. They've been conceding quite a lot of goals already when they had more of their starters, and now they're having a lot of injuries and playing kind of makeshift defense. So City are vulnerable to concede goals. They still have the quality to score lots of goals. I mean, they're creating a crazy amount of chances. I mean, even against Brighton, who were all over them at one stage, City, it was like a really exciting game to watch. It was like backwards and forwards. Obviously, I was supporting Brighton and wanted Brighton to do well, but City was still like creating great chances. So they, attacking wise, are still going to be a huge threat. But they got Spurs next, and Spurs is their bogey team, so I think that could be a big one for them. And as we said, Spurs could blow City away. It could be a draw, or Spurs could collapse. So we actually don't know what will happen.
Spurs are Spurs bogey team. Spurs are their own bogey team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Spurs are the reason why Spurs don't win most times. That's also the thing. Is like, and I really hope that they can really pull off a result, because if Spurs can somehow get a win, and I think if there's ever a team that I will put my money on getting a result against City, it's Spurs, because somehow they always seem to have City's number. I don't know what it is, bro. It's like, I don't know. So like you said, bro, the injuries have played a part, but they're still creating chances. So my thing is also same with Arsenal, is that there's going to be a click moment. There's going to be a moment where it goes boom. Someone's going to get hit for 5, and I'm hoping it's not Spurs, because I don't want City to get the confidence in. But at the same time, I'm not predicting this result. I wouldn't be shocked if like Spurs go lose their 4-1. You get what I'm saying? Like City have too much attacking quality that it eventually will click for them. And I think, like Liam mentioned earlier, is that City are the only team now that can even be 8 points behind, even 10 points, and somehow we still feel it's not enough. And I think when they know that other teams think of them like that, it's already one up in their court. Because Liverpool, where they are now, they're not comfortable with the points gap they have over City. They know that if they lose at Anfield against City, City are right back in it, and City are the one team we can guarantee they can go on an extended run. X, let me bring you in quickly, bro. Obviously, I know you're quite complimentary of City. You also say that you don't want to see them win the league again this season. Have you been surprised by the form of City lately, or is this something we could have expected? A team that's won so many league titles, an aging squad, fatigue probably kicks in. Is this something that you think has come to a surprise to you, or do you think, this is a matter of time before we eventually saw City go a bit down?
To be honest with you, it is a surprise, but we all know all good things do come to an end. But yeah, to be honest with you, it was a surprise. She said though, like Arsenal pisses me off when it comes to these, because we said it a couple of weeks back that City is scraping for points. We saw this coming, to be honest, because we were chatting about it, that City is scraping for points. But every time a City is scraping for points, Arsenal seems not to come on board and take that advantage. But yeah, it is a surprise for me that City has lost 4 games in a row. I believe it's after 18 years since they've lost 4 games in a row. But yeah, every good things that do come to an end. I was also checking Haaland stats. They were saying he's actually the worst striker currently in the Premier League. I think he's what do they call these things? It's an XG or G. He's on -4. So which shows that as much as he is scoring and he is the top scorer, but they're showing that his stats it's sitting on -4, which makes him the worst striker in the Premier League at the moment. For me, I'm down for it. They must just keep on this momentum they're having. It seems like Rodri getting injured was was a good thing So yeah, I think they must just keep that. Tottenham must just come and make us proud, and yeah.
Make us
Yeah,
proud.
look, I think we are in the territory. We're probably in the territory, Mede. Sorry, bro, I'll let you jump in now. We're probably in the territory of this league turning into a farmers league if City do 5 in a row. You know, if City win 5 in a row, I think as a Premier League, like in the standard of the league, that can't happen, bro. Because I mean, if City were to come and win the league now, what does it tell you about the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool? Like you know what I'm saying? If City can, with the injuries they have, with the points gap, with the form that they, if City can come back and win this league, it shows that City are mentality monsters, and Pep is arguably and probably undoubtedly the best manager the Premier League's ever seen in terms of tactically. You know, man management, maybe Ferguson still beats him there, but I'll put a Pep team against Fergie anytime, and I think Pep's team win. But then you look at it from the other perspective that if that's the case, if City were to win the league, who can actually challenge them? Because you've had Arsenal now do it for 2 seasons. You have Liverpool over the past 8 years do it. Chelsea maybe is at their time. You know, maybe United is the next team. But let me bring in Godwin. Godwin, are we slowly moving into the territory? If, like I said, if City were to come back and City were to win the league, bro, would you say it's down to the quality of Pep and his players, or to the lack of quality that is being shown in the league in terms of the mentality to get over the line from the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal?
It would definitely be due to Pep's quality and due to the quality of those players. Because if these guys can win the league again, because what I think is happening now is that they're experiencing some sort of a hangover. You know, because if you win 4 Premier Leagues, who wants to, like, are we going to get up? Are we going to have that same fight to try and win every single game again, every single cup game, every single Champions League game? So I think the squad is a little bit fatigued, bro, mentally as well. So if they manage to pull a 5th Premier League in a row, you cannot discredit other teams. You just simply have to give it to Guardiola and those boys there in Manchester, because I mean that would be quite remarkable in my opinion.
Right, bro, 100%. No, and I agree, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm hoping that Arsenal can be the ones to get it over the line. You know, because I know too many Liverpool fans. Like, I do like Liverpool as a football club. I just don't know too many Liverpool fans that will annoy me. That's why I don't want them to win the league.
Yeah, but
You know, so
but the thing is,
I would want anyone past City.
if I might, Arsenal have just shown that they're incapable of getting it done. You know, there's a certain Spurs element that you guys have about you guys. You guys are unable to get it done. You guys couldn't clean us yesterday. You guys should have won yesterday. The game against Aston Villa, where you guys lost 2-0, you guys just can't get it done. The 3-0 loss to Brighton the season before the loss, you guys just can't get it done, bro. That's why. That's why they want Arteta gone.
Now look,
I don't know
and I think that's the truth, bro.
Yeah, man. Like, you guys just can't get it done.
No, that's the truth. We haven't. Sorry. I'm just saying. I'm just agreeing with you that, like, we just haven't been able to get it over the line. And I think, again, I like what Arteta's done, but at the end of the day, bro, like, I'm not concerned which manager wins the trophy. I don't care if it's under 18's coach that comes in and wins us the league. The manager that wins it, yes, Arteta, it would be great, bro, because the story of it, you know, having rebuilt the team and brought the fans, you just end the story great. But I mean, if they decide middle of the season, January, sack him, bring in Ancelotti, Ancelotti wins us the league, I don't give a shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I'm going to be completely honest with you.
It looks like he's taken the team as far as it can go. I mean, guys, he's turned around your team's fortunes in offense. He's turned you guys into a title contender. But this season, okay, I feel like the statement that I just said would be valid at the end of the season, because if he can, if you guys, like, let's say, finish 4th or 3rd, I mean, he would probably even be like, guys, I think I've taken this as far as it can go, and then hand over the reins. And then he wouldn't be like an Arsenal legend, but he would be held in high regard with your fan base, I feel. Because from where you guys were 5 years ago and to where you guys now is a massive improvement. So, yeah.
100%. And look, I don't want to dwell too much on City still. I actually just move on because I've got to.
You can I just say
that goes
Okay,
The
so
real crime will be
Godwin, you
not
say
to
you're
finish.
saying, and then Liam jump in quickly.
The real crime will be not to finish what we started. So that's probably what Arteta is like. So you have to finish what you started, and he has to win this Premier League. Yeah, Liam, you can go for it, bro.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, I agree completely with what you said. Now, I don't think Arteta can take this team any further. I think they've reached the ceiling now. Unless, like I've been saying, getting players, getting, you know, Arsenal needs depth, the same depth that City as. You know, if you're gonna contest, if you're gonna challenge them for the league, you're gonna need to go, you know, pound for pound. There's no way you're gonna fight with that same player. Dane just mentioned just now. How, I don't know how many players you guys have in the squad. We won't challenge the league with that many players. You need to get in quality players. Um, but yeah, man, what I wanted to actually say was you finished second and second. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished second with Man United. He finished third with Man United. Mourinho finished second with United. We don't give a fuck about those years. No one cares. So that's what Arsenal is gonna be. Sorry, Shannon.
I would beg to differ only because I think that the trajectory of your no, I think the trajectory of your teams, bro, after those managers went down. I think even though we finished second, it's been second, better points tally, second, better points tally in terms of getting closer to the title. So I think that's the only difference that I think Arteta might have over the likes of Ali. Yes, we don't really remember second place, fair enough. But I don't think that it's second, for example, where Arteta hasn't regressed. But this season, maybe, but it's not over yet, And I think again, Arsenal are yet to play 5 games this season in a row with our strongest 11. So I'm just going to hold a bit of judgment out on Arteta in terms of where he should finish in terms of what, in terms of Arteta in, Arteta out, that kind of thing, because I still want to see the likes of Marino playing, if it's with Rice in the six, or Calafiori playing, but Saka, Havertz, the whole team just fully operational. Give me 5, 10 games. I'll say give me 10 games at least. All competitions. Then I'll be able to tell you, listen, no, I think Arteta's reached his ceiling or not with this team. But look, this is in the Arsenal segment, so I think let's just move on to our final fixture of the weekend. And I think it's only fitting that we end off on the what did I say, the league leaders. That's Liverpool.
Shannon, can I just
What'd
go
you say?
back to can I just add something to that City point quickly? Everyone's looking at Haaland like, he's not scoring. Where's Rodri? Where's thinking to assist him? But you know that after 11 games last season, he was on like 11 goals and he's on 12 now. And they won the league last season. The season before that, he was on 15 goals. So I get the comparison then to 2 seasons ago. But I think City will come back, man. I think once Rodri, he's out the whole season, but once the Brenner finds his feet again, I think, City will come back. Look at 2 seasons ago, in the beginning of the season, Pep was also going on like he doesn't recognize the team. And they went on to win the treble at the end of that season. So Pep can also play mind games with you. So you can never be.
Yeah, look, and like I said, I think we've all agreed that there'll be a lot of twists and turns before the season ends. That's guaranteed. I don't think we sit now in January when we're on another podcast. I don't think that the league table looks the same. I think there'll be a lot of changes. Some will surprise us, some won't. But yeah, Dane, quickly bring in before we move on to the Liverpool segment.
No, I was just going to say, I think that City will buy a Rodri replacement in January. I see them going for someone like Guimaraes or Zubamendi. Like, I don't see them playing the rest of the season without a Rodri replacement. So I'm just going to bring that up, that like Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea have to capitalize now while Rodri is not there before the replacement comes in, because the replacement will come in.
100%. And I think that like you said, that is inevitable, bro. I don't think Pep is a manager to rest on his laurels. Gents, let's move on to the Liverpool segment. I think as much as we've all been saying we think Liverpool will slip up, they currently haven't. Only one lost this entire season in the league. And I think a draw against us, and then I think they've won the rest of their games. A player that I always mention, I think that I always say doesn't get enough respect, is Mohamed Salah. Once again, being Liverpool's main man, getting an assist, if you want to call it that, getting a goal. a really good finish. Are we just trying to come up with some sort of copium, gents, as a panel here because hoping Liverpool don't continue on this form, or can Liverpool genuinely continue on this form? Like, are we seeing anything Liverpool that suggests that they won't? Is there something that someone in the panel has seen that you say, what, listen, if Liverpool are, if someone can capitalize on A, B, then Liverpool will definitely slip up? Or, like I said, are we just trying to kind of make peace with it, that, or try to comfort ourselves and say that Liverpool will eventually flounder? We haven't heard from in a while? Medes, bro, let me let you jump in there.
Bro, like, I think we are comforting ourselves to a certain extent, mainly because Liverpool are looking really consistent. They are they are the most consistent. I mean, they are the first team on the log, but I just feel like we're saying that for the most part. But also, what Godwin usually says, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I was actually thinking about it earlier today to say, when do we stop using the words, it's still too early in the season to actually say how far a team could go, And you look at the stats and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, we can look at the stats and everything, but the reality also lies in the consistency of the teams. And Liverpool has been consistent. They might not be looking like very brutal in the sense that they're winning like 5-0 or 4-1 or whatever the case might be, but they're getting it done. They're winning the necessary games, they're getting the necessary points. By the time we're all talking about there'll come a slump where they're dropping points. By the time they're dropping points, how do we know how far ahead they'll already be? Like Arsenal and City are dropping points, of which rather they haven't been losing or dropping in the past seasons. Like, I think Arsenal now are close to the total number of points they dropped last season. They're nearing the number of points they dropped last season in total. And it's like we're still not halfway through the season, and it's like we're also not that naive to think Arsenal will win or not drop points of the season. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Liverpool are doing what's necessary, and we are also looking from the side to say, hopefully they'll drop points in the name of, I don't know, like it's a marathon and consistencies can be breached or whatever the case might be, And I think what's really also, I think I could say it's fair to up to my team, is that we haven't really played like 10 games in consistency without being disturbed by international breaks or cups and all of that. So lineups are rotating too much for consistencies to actually be established. You look at teams like Nottingham, like Forest and Brighton, who are actually really playing well, is because they don't have much disruption. They are able to actually establish a consistent lineup, versus your cities that have to rotate between 4 cup trophies and international breaks and injuries and all of that. So, yeah, I do really believe Liverpool will hold on for as long as they can. But I do feel like, with the question asked, we are comforting ourselves. They're looking like a team that set their mind on actually winning. No matter what, no matter how scrappy it might look.
And look, I think that's also the thing is where Liverpool have had a few injuries here and there. Diego Jota is out. Trent went off on the weekend, but in a whole, they've been able to field consistent, like let's say 8 or 9 players. And I think you're gonna have changes here and there, but I think once you're able to field a consistent team, it brings cohesion. It brings good performances, and I think that's what you see from Liverpool right now. And I think also another thing with Liverpool is that they've got genuine match winners in their team, and it's all across the board. It's not just in the front in terms of Salah. It's in the midfield with McAllister, who's obviously a World Cup winner. It's in defense with Konate and Van Dijk. I mean, they're missing Alisson in goal, but you wouldn't even say, because Cole McAllister is probably the best second choice keeper in the league. He's coming. He's kind of staked his place, or like I say, throwing his name in the hat to be considered for the starting position. So when you've got that going for you, Liverpool currently on a high. And it's just about when they hit that eventual low, how quickly are they able to bounce back? If they lose or then go on another 10-game winning run, then I think you can
going to be like, okay, damn, this is a CS team. But if they're going to go lose a game and then draw and then lose again, and then you start to think to yourself, okay, then maybe there's a little bit of a kink in their armor. But currently, look, I think Liverpool are definitely favourites. In terms of form, points, position as well. I think, and it's ironic. When I was looking at the fixtures earlier this season, or not too long ago, I saw that in the space of about a week, Liverpool play City and Madrid. And I think these are probably the two worst City and Madrid teams currently. I wouldn't be surprised Liverpool won both those games. Take it back to last season, I think Liverpool probably lose both those games because I think Madrid and City were just levels better last season as opposed to this season. Dane, bro, obviously, in your fan camp, you said that you think we can catch Liverpool. And I know you're still holding out those reservations, bro, but is there some part of you that's honestly just feeling like they might have a bit too much for us this season? We maybe have blown the chance to win the league. I know it's still early, but Liverpool been impressive, bro. They showed the mentality to come back against us. They beat Chelsea. They beat United comfortably at Old Trafford. I mean, if they were to go on and beat City, I think that is a rubber stamp on, in terms of title favorites. Or like I said, do you think there will be a slip up from Liverpool soon? And, let's just wait and see. Let's everybody just pump the brakes.
Like I said in my fan cam, last year after 20 games, Liverpool were 5 points ahead of Arsenal. And at the end of the season, we finished 7 points above them. But I know that they had a lot of injuries towards the end of the season because Klopp plays he plays the gegenpressing and the high-intensity football, whereas Slot doesn't play that much of a high-intensity football. So there's probably going to be less injuries in Liverpool's team this year than they had last year. What I am worried about is that no one's talking about Liverpool's UCL form. Like they beat AC Milan, I think, away, if I'm correct. I was looking for the results. Well, yeah, they beat AC Milan away. They beat Leipzig away. They beat Leipzig away, and they beat Leverkusen. They chowed Leverkusen at home 4-0. So they're top of the UCL log and top of the Premier League log. So they are looking great in both competitions. But they did have a very easy start in terms of fixtures in the league. The two teams they dropped points against are in the top 5. So they didn't drop points against Chelsea, but they dropped points against Forest and against Arsenal. So it means that there is a vulnerability there against the better teams. So I do think that they will drop points when they play. Sorry?
I said, I hope Godwin heard that. You heard Forest and Arsenal. There's no Chelsea there, bro.
Yeah, so, but I think they're still riding a bit of new manager bounce and everything is like honeymoon period. But, when the games come thick and fast especially in December, and they play City in December, but it's a good time to play City. And as you said, it's a good time to play Real Madrid. So I'm once again, I said I'm on like a roller coaster with Liverpool. Like at times I'm feeling confident, and then other times I'm feeling like Arsenal aren't in a good enough place. So I'm like mixed. I'm not like set on one position, but I just want to mention Salah. It's just criminal that he wasn't nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Like I don't know how he didn't get in, and he's just took his out on the league and on the yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was say go ahead, bro. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you. I was just saying that I always say that I think there's a lot of bias when it comes to African players, but I mean, Africa's produced so many world-class talents, bro. Like, people like Lampard was nominated for Ballon d'Or, but I mean, no offense to Lampard, bro. Who carried Chelsea more? Drogba or Lampard? If you're being completely honest, bro, in terms of clutch moments, but Lampard, yes, legend, top goal scorer in Chelsea history, bro. But Drogba, bro, there was, Champions League final, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's Mr. Chelsea, bro, but never ever got the flowers he deserved. Sadio Mane, bro, never got the flowers he deserved.
Michael
George Weah is the only African player to. Bro, Michael Essien, we can go through the list, bro, of just African players in general, bro. That have played for like all of our teams, bro. And whether it's African, whether it's Caribbean, I'm not trying to make it a racial or color thing, but it's never seemed like with Vinicius, bro. Like you heard the whole thing around him, like, oh no, he's bringing his family. How can he do that? It's like, bro, what? You know what I'm saying? Like what are you measuring the players on? And I think with Salah, he's suffering from that. I think if Salah was in Spain, if Salah was in France, if Salah was generally a French international, you'd have like 2 Ballon d'Ors already. You know what I'm saying? And I think if looking at his numbers, bro, Salah is a all-timer in the Premier League. Like Cristiano Ronaldo had a good Premier League record in terms of goals and Premier League, but I think Salah in terms of just individual like numbers, he's probably takes that right wing position. Maybe Ronaldo, you put him on the left, fair enough, cool. But Salah gets into the greatest ever 11 in the Premier League history, bro. Name me a better winger. Don't tell me about style statistically. Look at just in terms of being that guy, bro. Salah's been every season. Salah's worst season, guys, was being his Ballon d'Or season that he got nominated for. For perspective. And like you say, Dane, how does he not even get nominated in the top 30, bro? No offense to Saka. Salah is better than Saka, bro. Like, if you're not going to put in Salah, but you're going to put in Saka, something tells me fundamentally the way you're judging it is wrong, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, generally speaking, I think the only winger that's on par with Salah is Lamine Yamal in terms of right now quality. Maybe Rafinha. But I still think Salah is in another freaking galaxy. And I think maybe it'll take Liverpool this season to win the league for people to finally give Salah that, because he is the main attacker, bro. Like, Diaz is having a good season, but no one else is kind of on that level. Because if they had Salah and Mane, which were kind of similar, in terms of how important they were to the team. But now you can see, bro, Salah he's playing like he is that guy, bro. He knows that he's that important to Liverpool. And I think, like I said, it's going to be maybe a blessing in disguise for all of us here when he does go away to AFCON. But it also could be the thing where, Egypt have come so close here, and sorry for the little bit of rambling here, but Egypt have come so close to winning the AFCON on numerous occasions. If Salah were to go and win the AFCON in January/Feb, bro, curtains. Trust me, bro. If Egypt go and get that over the line, the Salah you get that comes back from the AFCON, I don't think we've seen a player like it. But that's just my opinion. Anyone can jump in quickly before we just end off.
And just another point on Salah is he just passed Henry in assists, in all-time assists. Actually in the Champions League and in the Premier League. So he's criminally underrated. He's also, I think, got 20 goals and 20 not 20 goals and 20 assists, but like 15 goals and 15 assists in 5 seasons in a row or something like that.
Yeah. Hey, Shannon, can we just correct you? I think you were disconnected when Dane and Godwin were saying that AFCON is not in January, it's end of next year. So December 2025, yeah. But I do, but if AFCON was in Jan and Salah won with Egypt, man, and Liverpool win the league or the Champions League or even both, then we have to give Salah this. We spoke about Harry Kane last week, him being so consistent in the league for so many seasons, and Mo Salah is in that same conversation.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, like you're saying, is that look, I rate Salah. I don't buy this whole thing that a winger needs to be or player needs to play like you think they should play. Ultimately, players play how they play, and I think Salah plays to his strengths, bro. He's a clinical finisher, and I think, last season he had a bit of a dip in a sense that, Liverpool were having a dip. But now that Liverpool are looking solid, bro, he is at the forefront of everything that Liverpool are doing. Like, yes, Luis Diaz is having a great run of form, but you know that Salah, when he gets the ball, he's getting 3-4 players around him, and that's what's giving everyone else a lot of space because he's that guy. And I think, look, I hope Liverpool can slip up soon. I just need them to show a little bit of vulnerability because it is there. Midfield-wise, I think they aren't the strongest. If you're comparing midfields to City and Arsenal's, they aren't the strongest. And I think if Van Dijk were to get an injury, or maybe a Salah, then I don't know. Then we have to really see what Arne Slot and Liverpool are made of. But as for now, I can do nothing more than just hold my hands up and say, listen, I've been pleasantly surprised by Liverpool's start. I thought they would struggle with a new manager. You never know how it goes, but I think this is not just new manager bounce. This is a good team, and obviously he did inherit Arne Slot, a good side from Klopp, but I think he's kind of played more to the players' strengths. seeing his squad is aging a bit. He's no longer playing that rock and roll football like they mentioned. He's more controlled, and I think it's suiting them a lot more, you know. Trent is not getting exposed as much as he used to last season or a couple of seasons ago. Trent is looking like he can defend because he's not required to cover so much space. You know, it's smaller spaces that he needs to work with, and I think that's helping him out a lot. Gents, obviously we're almost at the hour and a half mark. Just 5 minutes left, and I just want to touch on something very quickly. I'm sure some of you have seen it, and if you haven't, I will play it quickly. Just want to get everyone's thoughts on this, and if what we're seeing in the Premier League is actually, you know, we've been hearing about referee bias and referees are doing corruption. I don't know if you guys have seen this clip, but this is what's doing the rounds currently.
Think of the Liverpool game earlier when you were fourth official.
Liverpool was shit.
What do you think of Jurgen Klopp?
Cunt, absolutely.
What would you say? Why would you say that Jurgen Klopp was a cunt?
Aside from having a right pop at me when I ref them against Burnley in lockdown, then he accused me of lying, and then just had a right.
So look, I think we all get the gist of it, and I think that's referee Daniel Coote, guys. He actually was the referee that ref the Liverpool game now over the weekend against Villa, and you know he's been involved in some very dubious decisions for Liverpool. I mean, he was the guy. I don't know if you guys remember when Rodri handball against Everton. If you guys remember that from a couple of seasons ago, he was the referee in charge of that game. Odegaard's handball last season, he was the referee in charge of that. You know, when Van Dijk got the injury against Pickford, he was the referee in that game as well. And I think we all know the referees in England are shit and they're bad. But I think that clip right there is going to throw the entire PGMOL down the drain. Because if that's one referee that's doing that, I guarantee you it's all of them. And I saw a comment on Twitter where it said, we'll sit here as we are now as a panel and criticize the referees, or maybe we're sitting at a bar and we'll maybe complain about our bosses, for example. You know, you maybe say, oh, you know, my boss is pissing me off, or this, that, something happened at work. And that's technically what this referee kind of did there. But I somehow feel that, first of all, how did he agree to that? Because, bro, you know who you are. Why would you let someone record you saying that? And then secondly, the decision that you make against a particular team in Liverpool after you made these comments all those years ago, because this was around lockdown time, just shows that there might be a level of complete bias. I wouldn't say corruption, but generally referees are clearly refereeing certain teams according to how they're treated by either the fan bases or those players. And I just want to bring in X quickly. X, do you think that the Premier League Referee Association need to look at bringing in a few international referees just to mix it in with their referees now, just to, you know, kind of silence the amount of noise that we're hearing about the referees? Or do you think that this will just be swept under the carpet, in a couple of weeks we'll forget about this and, you know, we'll just carry on with business as usual?
They should bring some international referees. I think I personally believe it will bring a bit of balance, because the refereeing that we're seeing lately, last season coming to this season, it's horrible, bro. I mean, you just showed us this referee, you know, being against Liverpool. I mean, like, what do you call that? And let's not forget, who's the other one that likes City so much? Michael Olive, I think, also. So yeah, we can like, they brought in even a VAR, but they can't fix whatever or mistakes in the match. Referees go to a VAR, see the mistake, but still make the wrong decisions. I understand. And yeah, I think it's just there's a huge biasness going on in the refereeing towards certain teams and stuff like that. So bring in other international referees, I think that will kind of like bring balance.
Godwin, bro, so you unmuted yourself, bro. I want you to come in there. I think you had a point to make, bro, so the floor is yours.
I think that this whole thing has been blown out of proportion. Unless there's no clear evidence that David Coote has been in cahoots to, if there's no proof that he's given decisions against Liverpool that were clearly the opposite, then guys, I think that this guy is obviously just having fun with a friend. He looks a bit under the influence of whether it's drugs or alcohol. I don't know what it is, but you even missed out a part in the video where he tells his friend, like, don't put this out, like, this is just between you and I. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he says these things, and like you said, he should know who he is, and he shouldn't be doing things like this. I think he'll never ref again due to some madness. He's probably trying to be extorted from the guy that actually took the video. But unless there isn't any clear evidence that he's blatantly like misused his powers against a Liverpool game, then the punishment shouldn't be swift, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, look, and one thing I will say though is, and I saw a comment actually from a guy on Twitter, like I said, that he actually said, you know what, I think that football fans tend to blow things like this out of proportion, and I think yes, you know, some of the decisions that he's made are questionable, but every single team has had questionable decisions against them from a certain referee. So, you know, like for example, Arsenal can say that Michael Oliver is probably saying the same things behind closed doors, because look at the decisions he's given against Arsenal. You know, for example, the red card for Trossard this season, the lack of red card he gave to Kovacic last season for the 2 tackles against Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. I can easily sit here and say that no, this referee is biased. What I will say though is that I think the referees are getting a lot more limelight in the past 2 seasons. I don't like that the referees are being able to become such like key figures. You know, when you watch Champions League, gents, you know, we haven't unfortunately done like a review of any of our Champions League or European games, but none of us here are talking about referees. Tell me the referee of your last 2 Champions League games. You can't name them. I can tell you who Arsenal's referees have been in the last 2 games. You know what I'm saying? Because the referees are always making the headlines, and I think the PGMOL need to step in and gain some control over the organization, because now they're just letting it go haywire. I mean, you've got guys like Howard Webb going on the overlap, talking to Gary Neville, and you know, thinking that he's some celeb, bro. We don't care about you as the referee. Sorry, bro. Like, there's a reason why in FIFA there's no be a ref. There's be a pro, be a goalkeeper, be an outfield player. No one's being a ref because no one wants to be a ref. There's not a thing like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think they just need to relax. And I think that, like I said, the PGMOL just need to control their house, because there's been a lot of things that have been over the past season. I mean, look at that, the controversial decision with Liverpool and Tottenham, where the offside wasn't given or the goal was disallowed. You know, that incident. Then you look at this incident now with the referee and the decision that, or what he was saying, it's just, I guess it just doesn't leave a good taste in fans' mouth. It's going to leave the door open for conspiracy theories and allegations for corruption, and that's the last thing that this league needs, because you've currently got City suing the league. Now you've got one of the referees coming out and blatantly slandering one of the managers that has managed in the Premier League. So yes, I'm sure referees and players swear each other. You can hear it sometimes. You can see them saying "fuck off." You know, that's like a normal thing. But the way he did it in that video, in my opinion, just showed a lack of taste. And I think you just have to be careful. You know, and I think the PGMOL and the Premier League just need to get a hold of everything and just take it back to the basics. Let's just make sure the league is entertaining like it was 5 years ago, where less referees, you know, and more about the teams, more about the players. But I don't know, gents, if anyone wants to jump in quickly before we end on this topic, you're more than welcome to.
I agree completely with Gordon. I think everyone is just blowing this out of proportion. I think it was just banter between this ref and his friend. I don't think he'd put his job in jeopardy like that. I'm sure he knows, he's adult enough to know the consequences of, you know, going against a team purposely, making harsh decisions on purpose because you don't like Klopp or you don't like Liverpool or whoever it is. I don't think he'll be suspended indefinitely. I think he'll probably serve a few games, you know, without being on the field or without being anything really. He should probably get a few games suspension, and he'll probably come out with a statement and, you know, to apologize to Klopp and to Liverpool and to, you know, we've seen how PR works. But I don't think he'll be suspended indefinitely. I think he'll be back.
Then go ahead, bro, just before we end.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see if, and I know this is maybe it's conspiracy, but I'm just interested to see if
going ahead in the rest of the seaon if Liverpool are going to be refed with the back of the people, the refs in the back of their mind thinking this ref was shown to be against Liverpool, so we've got to maybe give 50-50 decisions to Liverpool. So that's just a question that I'm putting out there. It's going to be interesting to see if Liverpool get more favourable decisions from the refs because they've had this ref come against them, and I'm just wondering like how it'll turn out for the rest of the season.
No, look, and I think that's a very valid point to bring up because I think, you know what, we might see some slide, but I think everyone's going to have the decisions against them or for them this season. You know, I think Arsenal, for example, I feel like we've been hard done by, so I'm waiting for our luck to change. You know, some teams will think that they've maybe had the easier end of the straw. Maybe their luck changes in a couple of games. So I think it's just only time will tell whether this decision, in terms of how the PGML, I think the PGML, how they handle it will determine the outcome or how fans feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's quick to say fire this guy, but I think also at the same time, like Godwin said, he didn't do anything. He's not involved in match fixing. So yes, he slated Klopp, bro. But I mean, we slate Klopp here on YouTube or our managers doesn't mean that we should now not be allowed to continue with our jobs, you know? So you might think there's a bit of bias because he maybe doesn't, you maybe say he thinks Liverpool was shit, but they asked him, what do you think of Liverpool in that game against Burnley? He said, I thought it was shit. And I think any football fan or football person can say that a team is bad on the day. Even a referee doesn't mean that he's not allowed to give his opinion on a team or a game. So look, I think the only time will tell. And PGML said they will release a statement, and he's obviously currently suspended. So let's just wait and see. But gentlemen, it has been fun, gents. We've had obviously quite a long stream here. Obviously, you know, just as the international break starts, we'll probably maybe host a stream the week of the build-up for the new Premier League game week. Let me give you guys some time to rest and do what you need to do. I might just do a couple of other Arsenal-related content. Also, to everyone that's been viewing, thank you so much, guys. I do have a surprise for you guys that will be released on the 15th of November. So stay tuned for any news coming from my Instagram page or on YouTube. I've got some really exciting news coming up, which I think a lot of our subscribers and followers will be keen for. So to my panel of guests, thank you so much, gents, for your insights. As always, it's always been a pleasure. To everybody that's been viewing, thank you for your support. Thank you for liking and subscribing and getting in touch in the comments. From everyone at the Talk 6 and Golden Goal Media, guys, we're out.